Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to do a Halloween card today. I have done no Halloween cards this month and it's October. What's up with that? So I recently purchased a few Halloween stamps from Unity and this is one of them. I have wanted this one since it first came out a year or two ago. It's called Hey Boo. I think it's fabulous and we are going to use this today. But before we get to the stamp, we're going to play with a little alcohol ink. It's been a while since I've done that, and I thought it would be fun. So I am going to use moss ink. This is from Ranger. We may add some alloy in Gilded, not really sure, but I've got it on its side, and I already shook it up a bit so that it's ready to go if we decide to use it. I'm also going to try something new. I'm going to use an acrylic block underneath my piece of poster board paper. This is Jot poster board paper from Dollar Tree. This is my preferred paper to use when I'm working with alcohol ink. I will have that and everything else linked below in the description. But I thought that I'd raise it up because a lot of times I get ink buildup around the edges and I don't love that. So I thought if I raise it up, we may get a different result. If not, doesn't matter. And we don't have to worry about this getting inky. We can just clean it off with some isopropyl alcohol. I've got my blending solution. I've got my isopropyl alcohol here in case we need it. I also have this sprayer. This was made for markers. You put a marker in here, and then when you squeeze this, it turns it into sort of like an airbrush. I can't find this anymore, but Ranger has an air blower tool that is used specifically for alcohol inks. So you can just use that. I'll have that linked below. But this works great. I don't really ever use it for markers. I only use it for my alcohol inks, but it's the same concept as the current air blower from Ranger. Okay, so we're going to do some wispy alcohol ink, which is kind of my favorite way to work with alcohol ink. And I'm going to try and open this bottle up, which seems to be pretty sealed. I grabbed a new bottle. I don't feel like messing with the old one. So I've got that open. I'm going to open my moss ink. I'm leaving the alloy closed for now because, again, I don't know if we're going to use it. And I am going to apply my blending solution across this panel. And then I'm going to take my moss and I'm going to concentrate it more in the middle as opposed to going at a diagonal like I typically do. And we're going to just go at it with the air blower tool back and forth to get it to move around and create some nice variation in shade. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my little stamp here and just kind of hold it over. See, we need some more, right? So it's good to have that in hand because then we can see if we actually need more ink or not. I'm going to add some more of this blending solution, a couple more drips of the moss, and we're going to go back and forth. You can see how it feathers out nicely like that. I need a little bit over here. I don't like the way that's got those harsh lines. Work that out a little bit. Now, this paper doesn't have the alcohol ink move as easily as Yupo, and that's what I like about it. I find that Yupo moves things too much for me. I like to be able to get it to stop moving quickly. And I know you can use a heat tool to do that, whatever, but I just prefer this. It's also cheap. That's not bad. Let's see this. Let's go like this and see if we like this better. Oh, I might like that better. You see that? I think that we still need a little bit more happening over here, though. Also, I tend to overdo my blending solution, just as an FYI. Ah, see those blues that are coming out? That's what I wanted. That's nice. I don't love this. Hopefully we can get that to kind of work itself out a little bit. That's not bad. That's better. How are we liking that? I think that that's good. Yeah. I don't even think that we need the gilded. I'm pretty happy with this. I think that that's going to work out just fine. Okay, step number 1, done. Time to do some stamping and coloring. So what we're going to do first, this is the first time I'm using this stamp, we're going to peel off this white backing. I'm going to hang on to it, put it back on later, and I'm going to put it on my acrylic block. You can use a stamp positioner if you want to, but I like to live on the edge. Now I've got my Memento ink in Tuxedo black because we're going to be doing some quick Copic coloring. I'm going to ink this up really quickly. A little bit better. I need to re-ink this stamp pad, I think, but this should be fine. All right, and we're going to stamp this onto some Copic friendly paper. Fabulous. Looks great. I have E40 and E41. These are the 2 colors that I'm going to use for my ghost. You can change this up to however you like. We're going to start with the 41. And I'm going to just follow the folds that are here. I was thinking about using the warm grays, but I really love the E40 and 41. Don't want to do too much coloring on them because I do want it to stay white. Just following these lines. And I'm only using 2 colors for each blend as opposed to my typical 3. Because it's a small space, and I don't think that we're going to need to do more than that. Of course, we could always change our minds, but we'll see. Under the pumpkin a little bit, around the pumpkin. This is the handle, okay? But we are going to do a little bit around the hand here. And this hand. We could even go around the flowers a bit, but I don't want to go too crazy with this. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the 40 and just kind of blend that out a little. I'm trying to hold my hand more to the side than I sometimes do so that you can actually see what I'm doing. It's very subtle. That's all I want. I want it to be subtle color. Now, this ghost has hands, which is different, right? But I don't really want to make the hands very human color. So I'm going to use the E000 and see how that looks, and then maybe we'll add one of the either the 40 or the 41, but I just want it to be really pale. Yeah, I think we'll go in with just a touch of the 41. That's better. Good. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to do the pumpkin, or the jack-o'-lantern. I have YR61 and YR02. We're going to start with the YR02, which is the lighter of the 2 shades now. I think so. I don't want it to be a very bright orange. I want it to be pale. I actually kind of want it paler than this, but I don't have all of the Copics, so working with what I've got here. A little bit of depth there. I kind of want to lighten this up a bit. So I grabbed the 0, the blender. We're going to just go in a little bit, lighten it up in the middle section. See what that looks like. We might need to go back in. Got a little bit of that YR color coming through here. That's okay. I'm going to go in with my 41 and just touch that up a bit. Good. Okay, now we're going to do the foliage. I've got G24 and G94. Start with the lighter color. And I'm just going to hit those leaves with this color. Just want to be careful you don't hit the flowers because they look kind of similar. Like this could either be a flower or a leaf, in my opinion. So I'm going to stop there and we'll do the flowers in a second. But I've got the G94 and I'm going to just touch the base and kind of flick it up just once or twice just to give a little bit of a range of color. Okay, now we're going to go dark. We've got BV17 and BV08. So the BV17 is slightly lighter than the 08. We're going to start with that. This is like a really deep purple. And I think it's going to look really great with our background that we made. And that's why I chose the greens that I chose, because it works well with the moss alcohol ink. Sorry, I'm concentrating on coloring now. Okay, I see a little green leaf right there. I'm going to get that real quick. Okay, now we're going to go in with the 08. And just like the leaves, we're going to just hit the bottom and kind of flick up. Just like so. And then we can go back and blend it out if we want to. I actually don't know if we need to do that much. It looks pretty good. It's a small design, so we don't want to go too crazy. All right, that is our finished ghost. I am going to off-screen fussy cut this fella and then we'll move on. Here is my little ghost, and now we are going to take this black PITT pen from Faber-Castell and we are going to go around the edge. You can see some of the white showing there and I want to get rid of that. It just makes it look more finished. So from the back we're going to do this, because if we accidentally make a mistake, it'll wind up on the back and not across the front if we were to do it this way. So we're just going to go like this. I use this particular PITT pen all the time for any time I've fussy cut something out and need to give it a finished edge. And it takes almost no time to do this, but it makes a huge difference, especially if your fussy cutting isn't perfect. It cleaned it up so nicely, and again, it's not a whole lot of effort. All right, there we go. Our ghost is done. And now we need to add our little sentiment. So this is the leftover from before. I'm going to peel off that white release paper, add it to my block. And we could use the Memento ink that we used before, but my favorite ink to stamp with for sentiments is VersaFine Clair. I'm going to use Nocturne, which is my favorite black ink, and I'm going to just stamp it right here, and then I'll fussy cut that out. See? Perfect. So when you're cutting around sentiments, you can use a die if you have one, like a label die or something, but I really just prefer to fussy cut right now. We're just going to sort of follow the letters. We don't need to be precise. Just kind of give it a little wiggle. Swing around, and you can see that I'm holding the scissor in my right hand because I'm right-handed, but I'm moving the paper with my left hand. The scissor really isn't moving at all except to open and close the blades. Here we go. Hey, boo. I love this because it really doesn't have to be a Halloween card. I know that the ghost is holding a jack-o'-lantern, but it doesn't have to be a Halloween card. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. All right, we need some foam tape now. That'll be great. I've got some foam tape from scrapbook.com. These are 1mm strips, and I applied some to the back of the sentiment and the ghost. And we're going to just remove the release paper. And we're going to put this ghost sort of in the middle. You can make it a higher loft foam if you want to, but I think that this is fine. All right, got the Hey Boo at the same height. How fun is that? That's so cute. Okay, now we're gonna get it onto our card base. Here's our card base with the panel on top, and I honestly don't hate the white, but I also don't love it. So I think that what we're gonna do is use Cashmere ink from Catherine Pooler. This is a really soft color. We're gonna use a blending brush so that it gets applied a little bit lighter than if we were just to go directly to the paper. I've got my new, check this out guys. This is the new MagInk from Glassboard Studios. You get a set of 2, and there's pour spouts so that if you're using something like sequins or beads or whatever, you can, even those, if you do the diamond paintings, it's got these ridges here so you can line up your faux diamonds, and then you can pour them out easily. But this has a magnet on the back, and I work on a glass board, so it's not going anywhere. And while this size doesn't fit all inks, it does fit the Catherine Pooler full-size inks really nicely, which is very exciting. So I've got a scrapbook.com blending brush here, and I'm going to just lightly apply this color. And you can see that that's not moving at all, which is super cool. And you can get these in whatever colors the pawns come in. I believe you can also get these. So I chose teal because it's my favorite. But you can get a different color if you want to. And I don't have to hold my ink pad now, which is super cool. I'm going to just finish going around this edge. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, see, it grunges it up a little bit, but it's not too dark. This is a really great color. I'm using it quite a bit. I don't use neutrals a ton, but when I find the right neutral, I can use it for a plethora of things. Anyway, okay, let's move that over. I think this looks great. I love this. Oh, let's get a different glue. My glue spout opened. Okay. Just gonna apply this. Oh, you know what? I kind of want to pop it up. Let's pop it up. Let's do that instead. This is also foam tape from scrapbook.com. It's a 1-inch wide, 1 millimeter high tape. It's a really big roll and it's great. It's the same loft as this one, but you can get them in different heights as well. All right, there's our card, everybody. I love this. I'm so glad I finally got to use this stamp set. It is fabulous. Fabulous. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be back very soon with another video. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.